All right, guys, so you saw the thumbnail. Now let's talk about this. Now, this is a video. Well, I had to scrap one because when I did it the first time, the video came out longer than I needed it to. But I had to scrap it because of some other things. But I mentioned these things in this video. And I want to focus on the words of Tank Davis to Jake Paul. When I told you guys all of this WWE style of fighting, all these fixed matches, you know, people want to, you know, because Roy and Tyson are legends, people want to act like that shit wasn't scripted as well. Yeah, they had their little fixed scripted fake boxing match that you guys don't want to admit because you're such fans of the two. Well, let me tell you something about Mr. Fake Jake Paul. You see, the fact that you guys give him a pass to do what he's doing, shovel your money out to go and pay for this bull crap, go to the fights or whatever, however you watch it on TV, that's your business. But the same way how these fighters don't care about legacy, these promoters don't care about legacy, neither do the fans. You know, I'm certainly not going to care about somebody's legacy more than they do. I don't care at all, you know. But my point is, in terms of integrity and respecting, the, you know, two warriors in the ring, it's been dying for the longest time. Imagine if Kimbo Slice, okay, when it came into what he was doing, he got recognized for street fighting, right? And he took it, you know, to MMA and then took it to the boxing ring after that. He didn't go in there and fight some guy that was, you know, removed from boxing or never was from MMA and never was an MMA guy, you know, but he's coming for the first time to do MMA or whatever. But bottom line, Kimbo Slice went in there and no, they didn't throw him to the very best guys right away. Nah. But he wasn't fighting fixed fights. Okay, imagine Butterbean and they're fighting guys who never fought before. Nah, Butterbean was a street guy, was a tough man guy, you know. Bottom line, y'all keep treating Jake Paul like a baby. Oh, but Jake Paul ain't been fighting that long, and Jake Paul is just... Yo, Jake Paul got the same amount of fights as Jaro Pataya right now. Yeah, but Ja got a better, you know, amateur bag, all right, and Ja's not making close to the type of money that Jake Paul is making. See, this is exactly what I mean about you guys, but all this hate that you show Floyd Mayweather, Roy Jones included, y'all a bunch of hypocrites, and y'all allow this shit. It can't happen if you guys don't attend. But let's get to Tank Davis, man. Tank Davis said something, and I'm going to tell you in this video what I said in the video that I scrapped. When Tank Davis made that comment, remember I said he's going after Jay Leone and he's more explosive with everybody, but he's letting Jake Paul stand up there and touch him and tap his pockets and all this, and right, looking like a sucker. Refused to fight Lamont Roach, get pissed off when somebody asked him questions about fighting, you know, Shakur Stevenson or rematching Lamont Roach, or, you know, anybody else for that matter. He gets real angry. Remember when Tank Davis stood there and said, let something go wrong, let something happen, watch, you know what I'm talking about too, watch, you know what I'm talking about. You know, I'm sitting there, the fuck is this dude talking about? And because I was so disinterested, I didn't really think about it. Then I thought about it, because I don't care about the fight. But I'm looking at Tank, his body language, his energy. He doesn't know what he's doing. Are you retiring after this? I don't know what I'm doing. Are you gonna fight? You know, I'm just doing me. Are you gonna fight Shakur? Why you keep asking about that guy? Yo, right? Nothing. He doesn't. She's not sure. Well, to be the face of boxing, do you think that after this fight or whatever, I'm not the face of boxing. I'm just a boxer that box. Everything. It just nothing. Just sound disinterested. He looked disinterested. Jake Paul looked disinterested. This whole circus of a fucking fight, this whole press conference was just garbage. And I'm just sitting here like, what the hell am I watching? Like, what is this shit? So he goes out and says that this will be his last fight. Not at the press conference, but afterwards. He tweets this. And basically he's going back and forth with Shakur. And Shakur says to him, yo, you know, I was always better than you. He said, I wish you nothing but the best going forward, but let him know that I was always better than you. Basically, he never wanted to fight Shakur. He never wanted to fight, Devin Haney. He never wanted to fight Keyshawn Davis. He make every excuse to not fight them. And if they have a performance where they don't look their best, he used that as a bigger excuse to not fight them. Well, I told you guys about Tank a long time ago, man. Because when I look at who's who, and like I said, being that I'm not a fan of anybody's, it's easy for me to say what I say. Because I'm gonna be real. I can't be a fan. I'm too much man to be a fan. Like real. And take it how the fuck y'all want. But I listened to this dude when he said that, and I started thinking, I said, wait a minute. What the fuck did he mean? Let something happen. Like, you know what I'm talking about. And I'm like, Jake ain't no street dude. I know ain't nobody trying to threaten Tank with the street shit. Like, what the fuck is this dude talking about? So I'm sitting there and I'm listening to him, and I'm thinking about, and I said, you know what? You know what I think this motherfucker's talking about? I think this motherfucker is concerned about Tank Davis, about Jake Paul doing something that they didn't agree on. Like let's just go in there and make it look real. Let's go in there, but basically, hey man, let's just go make some money. Let's make this entertaining for the people, and let's make it, where, hey man, we can keep the Jake Paul bank robbery going. And I'm sitting there like, yeah, I think that this is a fixed fucking fight. And that's pretty much what he's talking about. Let Jake Paul do something that we didn't agree upon. Let him like we supposed to go in there and just let's entertain the people, right? So maybe they're gonna call this shit a draw. Who knows? But let him go in there and do something. I mean, what was he talking about? And remember, he was saying it to the promoter. He's like, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, you know what I'm talking about too. Let something happen. Watch what happened. I'm gonna show you. Let something happen. And I'm like, that's what I believe that this dude was talking about. Yo, let Jake Paul go in there and do something that we didn't agree upon. Let him go in there and because nobody's supposed to know this is a fixed fight. I believe strongly that's what he's talking about. And you want to know something? Boxing has become so trash, and the fact that a guy like Tank Davis, who never cared about legacy from the very beginning, it's all about money. Imagine if Lennox Lewis didn't retire after the Vitaly Klitschko fight, and he would have won and fought Butterbean, or he would have fought Kimbo Slice, or somebody who he wasn't on his level. But because the money was huge, it was a big, let's just say that would have been the case. Oh, that couldn't have been the case back in the day. You know what I mean? Because, yeah, we always had shenanigans and shady stuff in boxing, but come on, man, a whole different era. That couldn't have happened back then. But just imagine that. So that's why people talk all that shit. I'm like, yeah, y'all talking, but Lewis retired, man. And Lewis knew, like, if I still continue to fight and I fight anybody other than Vitaly Klitschko, yeah, I'm never going to hit the end of this. And, bottom line, I respected him retiring. Whatever he did would have been his decision. But I respected him retiring because it's like, yo, man, you done made millions. You done did what you did. You're 38 years old now. And if you're not going to rematch this guy, you can't fight a lesser fighter. Why not? Why not just retire and shit? Why not, right? People don't have integrity anymore, man. So this is exactly what I believe. The fix is on, and Tank Davis is worried, have a concern that, yo, let this motherfucker try to go in here and try to go real hard, or try, because of his size or whatever, what we done talked about off camera. They're not going to say anything about Jake Paul. If Tank, because think about this. Let's say if Jake Paul does go in there and decide, I know I said one thing, but I'm going to do another. What's Tank going to do? Admit that they had a fixed fight? What I mean, you think about it. And this generation probably wouldn't even care, because y'all support anything. And I strongly believe this is exactly what Tank Davis meant when he said that, man. But yeah, like I said, I added more stuff to the video, and the video ended up being way longer than I really wanted it to. And I scrapped it. It was a couple other things. And then I said, all right, you know what? And plus, towards the end of the video, a couple of things went wrong as far as me back and forth and just, wasn't a bad video. But it was nah. Let me focus more on this particular scenario, this situation rather with Tank Davis, what came out of his mouth. And, you know, people don't question things. What do y'all think he meant when he said that? Think about it. What did he mean? Let something go wrong. What is he talking about? Financially? You know, what is this dude talking about, man? What is he talking about? Let something go wrong, and you know what I'm talking about too. I said, yeah, you know, and I said, yeah. They fixed this damn fight. That's what this is. And you gotta understand, him and Lamont Roach is a real fight. Why walk away from Lamont Roach and fight Jake Paul? It's crystal clear that he's not confident that he can beat Lamont Roach. And they had to offer this dude, I don't know what the purse is and I don't care, but I'm willing to bet you he's making more money against Jake Paul than he is against Lamont Roach. I doubt very seriously he took this fight for the same money. Otherwise, he probably just said, you know what, forget it. And I believe that the fix is on, and that they're going to go in there and do some fake stuff like fake people do. I don't put it past these guys, and that's what I believe the situation is. But I told you guys, man, anytime a fighter doesn't care, that's just why I said Roy Jones is a fucking disrespect. His take on boxing is like really distasteful, man, when it comes to Floyd Mayweather. The fact that this dude compared Tank Davis to Floyd and talking about he's not shocked because, you know, Tank look up to Floyd. He just kept saying the other guy. I'm like, this old bald-headed, crusty motherfucker still talking about Floyd, man. He's still talking about Floyd. You know, but first off, Floyd was the guy telling Tank, yo, you got to fight these guys, man. You got, you know, here's a guy that beat 23 world champions. Roy Jones beat 10. Somehow, Roy is talking like he's, nah. Roy Jones saying what he said doesn't change anything. He's just giving his biased bullshit opinion out of hate. You can't compare Tank Davis to Floyd. You can't compare him to no fucking Roberto Duran or nobody, or Ray Leonard. You can't even compare them. And be honest with you, when Lomachenko walked away from their fight, notice how Tank Davis, and I pointed this out in the video before, how he quickly took Lomachenko's side, like he understood. Any other fighter would have been pissed off, like, yo, come on, man, we train, we ready to rock, man, and then you gonna pull out. And nah, he remember, and he sat right there at the Lamont Roach press conference and talked about how he understands why Lomachenko walked away. Sometimes you just get to the point, you know, I've been doing this for so long, man, and you know, right. So when he also says, I've been, you know, this is the first training camp I had where I could just have fun. So fighting and preparing for real fighters have become too much, Mr. Abdul Wahid, Mr. I'm a Muslim now. Yeah, see, all of that was soul searching, trying to find himself. Yeah, notice how all of a sudden his name is Tank Davis again, right? Not Abdul Wahid. You don't hear him talking anything about Islam and nothing. But all of this stuff that people do, you know, I'm a Christian now. Yeah, I'm a Muslim. Yeah, I got my Shahada, man. Yeah, I know. Right. And then after some time go by, they still eating pork. They still telling people to suck their dicks, cursing, swearing, beating up on women, cheating on their wives, and all kinds of, yeah. But they're holy men. Listen, and let me say this. Let me say this for sure. Anything, right, that Tank did allegedly, anything whoever did allegedly, even with or without a so-called religious belief, there are things that you just don't do. There's certain things that you just don't do. And to be honest with you, it shows you that he's not a warrior. Like he said, I'm not the face of boxing. I'm just a boxer that boxes. He's putting limitations on himself, right? He don't want that responsibility. It's too much for, you know. Tank basically showed you he's not built like that, man. There's people he's just not confident that he can beat. See, he can fool a lot of you with this talk like these guys are not on his level. I know. That's always something, you know, a easy go-to line when you don't want smoke with certain fighters, because, see, fighting these flat-footed dudes that basically are really not that talented in the first place, Yeah, you can fool them with that bullshit. But what eventually happens, all right, what eventually happens with these guys is really simple. They see threat in opponents that you might not see a threat in because you're in fanboy mode. But Tank knows that he never wanted to fight Shakur Stevenson. Like I said, he never wanted to fight Devin Haney. And, Keyshawn Davis came a little bit later, but he never wanted to fight him either. And Tank is the guy that said, I'm going to fight all the top guys that everybody want to see me fight. I'm going to fight all them guys that I'm retired, right? He said he's not going to be stuck. He's not going to stick around too much longer, right? But he's going to fight all these guys first. Starting with Lomachenko. And what happened? It ended up being a cherry-picked Lamont Roach. Just to end up going in there, fighting a debatable, and took a knee, claiming he had grease in his shit and all that. And now he ends up, instead of having the rematch with Lamont Roach, he's fighting Jake Paul. Now, if you're going to say that this is a legitimate fight and you believe this is a legitimate fight, and the fact that here's Tank Davis, you guys talk about experience, right? Let's think about a guy like Kamel Moulton who's on the come up. And when people say things like, oh, Kamel need to sit his ass down, he ain't ready for Tank. Oh, but Jake Paul is. Yeah. Not because of his skill, just because of his size alone, right? Yeah. Well, Kamel Moulton is a real fighter. And we have weight classes. We have situations where, certain fights are going to happen. Let's be real, okay? Roy Jones was trying to fight Anderson Silva. And they both were past their primes. And Anderson Silva isn't a boxer either. Oh, but he has some... Yeah, okay, right. But at the same time, Anderson Silva got knocked out by Jake Paul. And this is a guy that Roy Jones wanted to fight. Well, he needs to shut the fuck up. Because he's just a hypocrite, an old, bitter, sore loser. Jealous. But at the same fucking time, right? Let's look at it. Jake Paul, Tank Davis, a fucking lightweight versus basically you can say a heavyweight. Out of nowhere. And why? I mean, if you remember, just a couple of weeks before that, Jake Paul claims he wanted to fight Anthony Joshua. Remember, he wanted to fight Anthony Joshua. And he went from saying 2026 to he want to fight him next. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he's fighting Tank Davis. Okay. Well, I tell you what. The same way how people are perfectly okay with Roy Jones and Mike Tyson, they were perfectly okay with Mike Tyson and Jake Paul, but they're not okay with Floyd and Mike Tyson because the Mike Tyson fans know he's going to get his ass whooped. And that's pretty much what that comes down to. But now all of a sudden you support this shit. Y'all don't even know. Like I said, on a different channel in a video I posted, like I said, y'all been watching fake fights for so long. Y'all been watching these circus fights. Y'all don't even know the difference between a real fighter. Y'all don't know what a real fight is anymore. This is some fixed fake bullshit that they're getting ready to put on. And that's what Tank Davis was referencing as far as I'm concerned. Yo, your man Jake Paul better not fuck around and do the unexpected, man. He better go along with, there's some WWE shit. Let's just try to make it look real. Let's go in, and what else was he talking about? Let something go wrong. What was he talking about? I'm the biggest star. I should go out for second. What was he talking about? What little intangibles? What was he talking about? No. I feel like even though he didn't say much on that stage, he said too much. He still said too much. Let something go wrong. Watch. You know what I'm talking about too. Yeah. Whatever's contracted is contracted. So what was he talking about? Yeah, y'all. Stop being fanboys and wake up, grow a set. Understand, these people are getting rich off of your money. I'm not even watching that garbage. I don't care to watch it at all. At all. But I just want to give y'all something to pay attention to. This is the type of stuff that they pull with you guys because they know that they can. You guys are getting ready to watch a fixed fight. Now, if Jake Paul decides, and not to mention the fact that he already announced retirement after this. Who's to say Jake Paul ain't gonna pull a swerve? All right, behind closed doors, yeah, man, all right, we just gonna go in there and make it look, entertaining. We'll hold back just like I did with Tyson and how we did. Yeah, you notice how people say Mike held back on Jake, right? Like it wasn't the other way around or both. Nah, Mike's a finished guy. And bottom line, he still got in there. He still got in there after 8 blood transfusions. And it's funny how none of these people that talk about that fight don't bring that up, that fixed shit. But the same way, but then think, all right, he's retiring. What is he going to do, sue me? He going to let the world know that he's a fraud, that he went along with this kind of shit? I mean, hey, I'm Jake Paul. I've been doing this shit. This is how I built my career. Doing bullshit like this. So guess what? I can get away with it. He can't. And it'll just be allegations. Yeah. What's going to happen after that? Some leak footage, and everybody going to know that Tank is a fraud for going along with it in the first place. So now he might just go in there and decide, you know what, I'm a pretend, but I'm going to try to knock this little motherfucker out the first chance I get. I won't be shocked by any of it. But that's what I believe the truth is, and what I believe that's what Tank was talking about. And I have no reason not to believe it. And this fraud, Jake Paul, will continue to make money because you guys will continue to support him. Talk to me in the comment section. What do y'all think about Tank Davis and those very words that came out of his mouth? Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and I will catch y'all on the next video.